All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the second part of the three-part miniseries Green Lantern and Sentinel, Heart of Darkness. This is a connected cover with Alan Scott here, also known as Green Lantern. Once upon a time, by Ron Marz, Paul Pelletier, and Dan Davis. And I don't like the costume. Dislike the costume. I think it's a serviceable costume. The original, of course, is way better. Check it out, right? This is the only thing that I don't. This is a very. I still have it in. Well, as you can see, it's still. I still haven't opened it. I don't know why. This is how our original looks like, with older. So I'm not sure why he's younger here, but the figure is actually pretty cool and great. But this is this classic costume. I wish they made the. Something else than this green flame. But, that's basically his power. Green flame turning into Green Lantern powers or something. Right? Come on. Look at this. Covered by, no, it's not a cover, but it's by Alex Ross. But this is also from a GSA cover. GSA, Justice Society of America. I'm rambling, but let's go in. So, we are meeting Obsidian, who is the son of Alan Scott, and he wants to kill Brainwave because Brainwave is possibly the cause of the disappearance of his sister, who he's very overprotective of. Jenny, and daughter of Alan Scott, sister of Obsidian, and he's very angry, wants to kill him, right? But then Alan jumps in. He says, "Hey, tone it down. Get control of yourself." Alan says that the nature of Obsidian was always a little bit darker, more prone to moods, and he has the power of, darkness. And that's it. He can control the darkness just like Alan can control the green flame, right? You also notice probably that this green is a little bit more darker than normally. It's more darker green, more like grass green. I don't dislike it. It's just different. Anyway, but he also lashing out against his father, but then Kyle comes in and prisms in, and he says, "Hey, you need to cool your jets, and I still owe you for what that time back in my apartment that was in '86 gone Green Lantern. So I have it, but I don't know what that story was anymore." Anyway, so Alan comes in and said, "Hey, let's take a step back. There's no need to make it worse, and let him go." So Alan says, "What were you thinking, Todd? What are you even doing here?" He says, "Jenny and I have a connection. I knew something has happened to her. I knew, and the prime suspect is him." But Brainwave is a totally nutcase. Yeah. But he also said that he should have killed him when he had the chance. I also like the costume of Obsidian. This is his classic costume, never changes, by the way, which I like. Although he was never, an A-lister, but I knew who he was and what his powers were with the gray cape. How many gray capes do you see? Actually, it's more ashen gray with this. What is it? Jewels. I don't know, but it looks cool. It's classic. I like it. Anyway, so he says, Brainwave has nothing to do with it, but it doesn't excuse your behavior. Explain yourself. So he powers down. He says, basically he turned that around, right? He says, maybe you're the one who should be explaining why you're more concerned with some psychopath's welfare than you are with your daughters. Aren't you supposed to be her father? Oh, man, that's a low blow. So, and then the doctors come in. Basically, this whole facility is paid by Alan Scott, so they are working for him, and he is explaining that he is the Sentinel and what's going on, right? And so Cal tries to talk with Todd, right? That's his name. He said, "What do you think happened to her? Because we are now at a dead end." So he says something, cryptic. He says, "She is becoming." Sorry, I didn't catch that, says Kyle. "Her father will take care of her." Yeah, so he says, "Yeah, sure. Alan is his father, right? So it's going to be all right." So he also said that he and Alan was talking, and he wants to have some kind of a try to get a connection with Todd here because his father wasn't really there, and Alan Scott wasn't really here for Todd and Jenny, so he thinks they have a connection, right? So they have a similar life, but Todd goes a little bit nuts here. He says, a true father doesn't abandon his children. Well, I guess not, says Cal, but sometimes the circumstances. But then he's powering up. I'm sick of this pretense. He wants you. You're the vestige of the ones who imprison him. Him? What are you talking about? And he's attacking Cal here, right? So, okay. Alan takes care of this doctor, and he says, have you lost your mind, Todd? And he doesn't understand why people nowadays are so, hell-bent on trying to hurt each other, because in his day, because internally he's an old man, right? He has a young body, but he's an old man. And when he was in the GSA, they fight, with his buddy Jay Garrick, or even Kent Nelson, with Dr. Fate, but not in this particular way. So he doesn't really get this violence. Things were so simple in the old days. What happened? Now, as an old guy, and I hate to say it, I'm agreeing as well, because I'm coming from pre-internet, pre-mobiles, and even I caught myself a little bit doom scrolling here and there. So I agree a little bit with Alan when everything was way more simpler before the internet. Well, this is nothing to do with the internet, but I'm just comparing, right? Was way more quiet, maybe not simpler, but more. It was little stress. It was less stress than now. No 24-hour being on all the time. You can go outside, having fun with your friends, and hanging out instead of watching TV, doom scrolling, playing games all day, and which I'm doing a lot also. But still, But yeah, it was a different time. It was more. I'm not saying better. I prefer it, to be honest, but I like also the technology that we have now. Nothing to do with this whole video, so let's move on, right? So Alan thinks that there's something wrong with Todd, and that someone else is behind it. And to be honest, this whole story is not really rocket science. I mean, it's basically in the name, because his powers comes from a fragment of a rock that's been called the Heart of Darkness, or we can explain later. Anyway, so they're having a fight, right? And so Cal says, Alan, what's gotten into him? Oh, that's why I'm wondering. So Obsidian says that it cannot be stopped. I've been open to my true nature, the same as my sister will be, and there's nothing you can do. So Cal wants to know if this is mind control, evil twin pod people. But then Alan doesn't answer, right? Because he doesn't know. And Cal just jumps in. But, he gets Obsidian is pretty powerful, right? He is no slouch. I mean, he has the power of darkness. And but Alan doesn't know what to do. He says, Cal's too eager. Try to make up for not looking after Jade, because Jade was once upon a time his girlfriend. Or is in this particular scene still his girlfriend? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, he says, how can I attack my son? But he's going to do it anyway, because he has no choice. He never said so, but part of him always resented me for not being a father to him. There's a distance between us. Now I have to get close to him so I can bring him down like a rabid animal. And Todd's reaching out to me, only to destroy me. This looks good, I like the what's the word I'm looking for? The creativity of this, like I said, when you have a Green Lantern, or you're doing a Green Lantern book, you have to think in different sizes, shapes, letting your imagination run wild because of all the constructs. It's the same with Todd, who can do the more darker side of that particular aspect. Really cool. He says, I'm your father. Tell me what happened. Who did this to you? And he says, no. And then, you are not my father. My father showed me things. And then, my father showed me my destiny. And They're blacking out. Only to be waking up in this, well, what is it? Where are they? In this realm of possibilities and nightmares, I guess. But it's been revealed that the one who is behind this is the Starheart, right? This is that fragment. Like I said, it's not really rocket science when it comes to storyline. I figured it basically out in the beginning what was going on. Like I said, it's the name, the Heart of Darkness, Starheart. Yeah, it's just one-on-one. But I really have little to no really back info about the Starheart or the Heart of Darkness, except that it was a fragment that came from the stars and gave Alan his Green Lantern power, or his green flame stuff. Anyway, so the Starheart teaches Alan a lesson because of his obedience, and even he realizes that he should have known that this is the guy who would, an entity that was behind all this, right? Anyway, but they are in this realm, and he is invincible. Okay. So Jenny comes in looking for, caring for his father and also Cal. And so Alan says it's the Starheart's random magic. I thought, was it always magic? I thought it was just, something to do with, Green Lantern. The Green Lantern, the power that comes from the Green Lantern is light-based, and it is, it's the whole lore, but it is not really magic, right? It's just constructs that you made of hot lights. I believe that's the simplest word of explanation. That's the simplest way of I can explain this thing, I guess. But this magic is not really that came up to me when I think of Alan Scott's powers. Anyway, once imprisoned by the Guardians when they tried to order the universe, he says, remember I told you my battery was only a stray fragment of it? Eventually the Starheart became sentient and escaped its captivity. It's what gave me my youth. We fought in Green Lantern Corp Quarterly. I don't think I have it, but maybe. Anyway, so he says, I believe the star was scattered, powerless, but the star says, ha, it was only part of my evolution, and yeah, he's acting like a typical villain. And he says, I'm pure magic and I've grown strong. I will spread myself through the universe and destroy the clockwork cosmos imposed by the Guardians. All creation will again be in the wild chaos it was intended to be. So Alan says, what has to do with my children? Yours? They're not your children. They're mine. Right. He says, well, I don't accept that. So, because, he only gave them the biological part, but in the heart, or overall, they are his children, right? You actually thought because you wore a magic ring, you fathered children with such powers? Well, actually, he has a point there, right? Just because you have a magic ring, which is not internal powers like mutant powers or powers in, like Superman or Spider-Man, you can father children that has controlling darkness and controlling the light, also known as Green Lantern powers, right? And it seems that Jenny can can become something like him, rivaling him. Well, Obsidian is more, attuned to his power, to his true power that's going to be unleashed upon the world if he's just staying with the Starheart. Anyway, so he's absorbing the Green Lantern battery because it's part of him, right? Alan, is this all true? It is. You know it is. I won't let you have them. Alan says, I'm an old man. I live my life. The Starheart says, the whole of your power is only the smallest fraction of me. You can't stop me. That's also true. But Alan says, well, you want me here. What do you want? I'm young because of a part of you. You want it back. Take it and leave them. That's my offer. Yeah, so possibly he wants to have the power that is still inside of Alan, right? It's like I said, the story's not really that complicated, but somehow the Starheart needs that little bit of extra power that is in Alan. In the end, only what you leave behind matters. Only your children. You love them unconditionally with an intensity you could only imagine before you became a parent. And you become to understand you do anything to protect them. So, all right. So the Starheart basically takes his powers, but in the process, Alan becomes an old man again. Not sure why he has still these clothes on, but then by doing that, old old age is catching up to him, and he's falling down, getting a possible heart attack here, I guess, and that leads us to the next issue. Yeah, okay, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen in the last issue of the Starheart saga, or the Heart of Darkness saga. But Alan Scott is still around, so right, and eventually he becoming, his true self again, but then older. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.